Cowboys at Buccaneers, Monday Night Football.
Another great game.
Another great one.
Now,
A great bad game.
Yes, it could be very ugly. It
I
could be
really
very
don't
ugly.
know which way you're going with this, Drew.
Yeah, me
So
either.
I'm curious in who you want to go with.
Make me go first.
Well, but you know
That's
what?
some fuck shit.
Actually, you'll go second
My brother.
because Dehls.
Here we go.
Remember, we're talking about in the regular season, Tom Brady. We can't doubt Tom Brady in the playoffs. We can't doubt him. And all Dehls will say is, like, I'm going to fucking doubt him all I want
Okay,
because
Zach, I
they're
will.
not a good team. So who's your pick? You got
Picking
the Cowboys.
Dallas. I'm picking
you got the
Dallas.
Cowboys.
I'm not
okay.
even thinking about it.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. This, like I said, I think this is going to be an ugly game. I think there could be turnovers on both sides. I think we could see a lot of punts here. The Cowboys have not been playing the best football as of recently. They barely won at home against Gardner Minshew. They lost to Jacksonville at overtime after being up by 2 touchdowns at halftime. They lost to the Sam Howell-led Commanders. They scored 6 points. They lost 21-6. And Dak has 7 games in a row throwing an interception.
Yeah.
Is the highest or the most in the NFL
11 in the
this
last 7
season.
games.
The highest, or excuse me, the longest streak in the NFL. The Cowboys been playing bad recently. The Bucs been playing bad all season. That's the difference to me. They're constantly in close battles with the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints in their own division.
They did beat the Cowboys.
They went 8-9 this year with the wins over Week 1, Cowboys, Dak got hurt, the Saints, the Falcons, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Saints again, the Cardinals, which was an overtime game against Trace McSorley, and the Panthers. Now when they played playoff caliber teams, or maybe even teams that were like a game out, like the Steelers, for example, they lost to the Packers, who almost made the playoffs, the Chiefs, who we know is the 1 seed, the Steelers, who almost made the playoffs, the Ravens, who were in the playoffs, the Niners, who were in the playoffs, the Bengals, who were in the playoffs. All teams that are competitive, teams that have quarterbacks, teams that aren't led by your guy Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, whoever was starting when they played the Panthers.
I was just getting rude.
They've just beat up on a terrible division with head coaches that have been fired, with Dennis Allen, who's a first-time head coach, and they still went 8-9. They barely got in. They had to do a must-win game against Sam Darnold and the Panthers to get to this spot, and they finished 8-9. And listen, I could easily see myself sitting in this chair this time next week and saying, of course, Tom Brady proves me wrong once again. I don't see it this year, though.
Can I
I
just
do
add something
think
real
the
quick, though?
Cowboys will win this game 28-20.
How many times has Thomas Brady lost to the Dallas Cowboys? How many times?
Who's sake?
How many times have Dallas won when they should have won in the playoffs?
Not many.
This is a trap game.
This is Tom Brady's worst team of his career.
But this is also where the Cowboys should win. The expectation is they should go, and it's like something about them is just like, I don't know.
You know, Dells, there are times when after the show, after things you say, I pull a chair to the middle of my bedroom, sit down in darkness, and I can't believe that these are your opinions.
It's the Zach Wilson guy, by the way.
Now the first game. Do you have the mental imaging?
No, yeah, that's what's making me laugh, bro. It's like,
I can literally see you doing it too. Like,
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Drew mentioned it.
Oh, God.
Brady is 7-0 against the
Goodness
Cowboys.
God.
The Cowboys are worse on grass than turf. But Tampa Bay, you play that in grass. Tom Brady is one of the worst quarterbacks under pressure this season. Dak Prescott has 11 interceptions in the last 7 games. Despite the offensive struggles, the Buccaneers' defense is still amazing. I won't say amazing, but they're really good. They're solid. And to be honest, the Cowboys offensively don't threaten me. They don't strike fear into me. I think that on the ground, the Buccaneers can do a great job. I think in terms of the passing game, CeeDee Lamb is their only legit option I worry about. But Carl Davis is somebody that I seen a couple weeks ago give Jamar Chase one of his toughest outs yet. So the Cowboys, outside of CeeDee Lamb, I don't trust the receiver. And as bad as the offense for Tampa might be, you got Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. Tom Brady's still the quarterback. And I will be damned if I pick against Tom Brady in the wild card round against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I've said this for the majority of the year. There was a point in time I believed in the Cowboys. But it's something about big-time games. And Dak Prescott. We talk about Kirk Cousins all the time, deservedly so. I'm not a big Dak guy, especially when it comes to these big-time, prime-time games.
That's where I have difficulty.
It's something about the Cowboys in these prime-time, big-time games that they just shrink.
Yep.
I have tough time.
I
sitting
have
with this.
Tom Brady winning this one, advancing to the next round. They will beat the Cowboys 17-13. It's a close game.
17-13.
Ugly game.
Such a nasty score.
It's going to be close. It's going to be ugly. It is Dehls. And Rachaad White. I have him over 15.5 receiving yards on Boom Fantasy. I don't got any stats behind that. I just like Rachaad White. Because that's my guy. I like Rachaad White a lot.
Zach is cooking.
Levine?
Yes.
So for me, I'm going with the Buccaneers. It's just no way I could bet against Tom Brady in the first round of the playoffs. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how bad the offense is. If there's one team that can flip a switch, it's a Tom Brady-led team.
Go ahead, review.
Oh, thank you for calling me
JB
that.
18.5.
This is the sad thing about being an Eagles fan, and actually the beauty of being an Eagles fan is watching the Dallas Cowboys downfall every single year. And one thing I know is when there is pressure, when there is expectations, Dallas sees it and they say, we are going to do the opposite of expectations and we are going to lose. But Tampa has been pretty much bad all year. You know, they haven't been the same Tampa Buccaneers we're used to seeing as of recent years. Dallas, for the most part this year, has been a really, really good team. You know, they have their up and downs, but defensively they have a solid group. Offensively, CeeDee Lamb has come alive. He is a true number one. Tony Pollard has emerged as that. Well, he'd been emerged, but now he's really asserted himself as that guy. So, realistically, Dallas has a game changer in Michael Parsons, has a number one receiver, has a solid game managing quarterback in Dak Prescott, has Tony Pollard.
He's better than a game manager, man.
You know what I mean. Has Trevon Diggs. So they have the
High-level
guys.
game manager.
Yeah, they have the guys who you would think this should be a win for Dallas. But like you said, man, there's something about Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. It's hard to bet against, even though he's old as fuck, even though he hasn't played well, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady. Because looking at Tampa, they still have Mike Evans. They still have Chris Godwin. They still have Tom Brady. They still have guys that can flip a switch and get the win. For me, I'm taking the upset also. I am taking Tampa Bay. I do think this is an ugly, ugly-ass game, and it will come down to the fourth quarter, who can make the last drive. And if that's the outcome, which I think would be, I will 10 times out of 10, no matter what year, whether Tom Brady is 70 years old or 30 years old, I would take him over Dak to lead a game-winning drive. So I got the score being 20-13, Tampa Bay.
So I sat here and wanted to go last to really come up with an answer. Because this, by far, to me, was the hardest matchup to choose from. Because there's both sides here that I like. That's obvious. Tom Brady going against the Cowboys. He's never lost to them. That is the reason why I can see myself leaning with the Buccaneers. Now, for the Cowboys, heartstrings. I love Ezekiel Elliott.
Heartstrings. That was his first reason.
I fuck with the Cowboys. I can't say I don't. I do.
It was a Cowboys and Giants truther. Gross.
But the thing that I have difficulty sitting with when it comes to evaluating Tampa Bay and the Cowboys is this disdain against Dak Prescott. And yes, he's turned over the ball a bunch over these last few weeks, no doubt about it. To be one of the league leaders in interception. Was he the league leader actually, missing games in interceptions, something like that?
I don't know if he was one, but he was up there.
So to be in that realm and to miss games is not ideal. But Dak has had to shoulder a ridiculous amount of this offense and team success due in part to the lack of defense that the Cowboys have had over these last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of Dak trying to shoulder just basically the entire team. But it has had to do in part with also him turning the ball over. What's going on, bud?
He farted.
Come on, bro.
No, I didn't.
He got up and farted again.
Oh, bro. He did one of the.
Yeah, he did. And then looked at me, looked directly at me.
Right when he puts his hands up, it's
You don't
over.
think Dehls
It's
would have
over.
noticed it, bro?
Bro, you
didn't
looked
see it,
right.
bro.
That's how I knew
noticed.
you farted. You made the noise, and then you looked directly at me, bro.
I knew
you did
something
it.
was off when Riv was he was moving around too much, and I was like, I gotta see what's up.
Guy
Come
is
on,
nuts,
man.
bro. It was a loud. I don't know how you
I
didn't hear
don't.
that.
They,
shit,
they
bro.
don't be smelling either. And
They don't. It's just they're loud. I
Brody
can
rip
hear
it
them.
ass. No, I don't smell it. But
The seat
I
press
do
stinks.
think Dak will have a good game. My boom fantasy lock for this game is Dak Prescott over 1.5 touchdowns. In order for them to be in this game, Dak Prescott needs to be the Dak Prescott that the Dallas Cowboys paid him to be. This Buccaneers secondary is solid. It's one of the better in the league. For once, their rush defense hasn't been up to par. It's been their secondary really holding down the fort. And I think that Dak needs to come to play. But I just find it hard to pick against Tom Brady. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I think the Dallas Cowboys are the better team. I firmly do believe that.
Yeah, they are.
But I just can't, in this situation, pick against Tom Brady because you mentioned it. Against mid-level teams, they've been able to clutch out victories. The one that sticks out to me mostly is that Panthers game. They were down 2 scores, and they were able to come back and win the game. Put up 20 points in a blink of an eye. Because that's just what a Tom Brady-led offense can do. Ultimately, I am choosing the Buccaneers. And this is probably the hardest matchup by far that I've had to choose in a long time. Where I do think the Cowboys are the better roster. Ultimately, I think Tom Brady is just too.
I like it. I like being
much of a
solo on
offensive
this,
mind.
man. I like
It's
it.
very hypocritical of Dehls to talk about the Buccaneers' cakewalk of a schedule when you picked the Jags over the Chargers and mentioned all the cakewalk games the
I
Jags
was gonna
had
say
to
the
get into
Jags
the
have
playoffs.
had cakewalks,
The Jags.
bro.
The Jags have
You're
been playing.
picking Trevor Lawrence over Herbert,
The Jags have been playing better football than the Bucks.
and you're picking Dak Prescott over Tom Brady.
I'm picking the Cowboys over the Buccaneers.
Who are the quarterbacks that lead those teams?
It is Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. I had to think about it
Okay.
Right.
Listen, you're a Tom Brady hater, no doubt.
for sure.
I love Tom.
Undoubtedly,
I love
as
Tom.
Riv would say.
I love Tom Brady,
I know you're sick.
and he's gonna clutch out this win, baby.
It won't shock me.
He is.
He's done it to me my whole life.